Well, it's a real pleasure to be here. I'm the Minister for Investment for the UK, and it's really exciting. It feels like this is a country in transition, right? The momentum, the energy, the vision that's happening is both profound and real. And so, I'm delighted to be here on behalf of the UK government to be a partner to that and to support in any way that we can.
Can Uzbekistan become UK's primary investment partner in Central Asia?
Absolutely. Why I wanted to come is that it's already happening. So there are deep relationships. In the UK, we have deep pools of capital and expertise. And I think when I was coming here, I was thinking about the history of the region. When you think about how Uzbekistan was such an important part of the Silk Road historically over centuries. And I think that's what we're seeing again, is Uzbekistan redefining itself as the centre of Central Asia. And when we look at, a crossroads between Europe and Asia and the Middle East, and we want the UK to be a partner in that. And I think there are ways that we can work together. We met the President yesterday. It was a real privilege and an honour to do that. And I think it really bodes well for the future of our cooperation.
And what would you say about the trade between the two countries, Uzbekistan and the UK? And, for example, how much investment contribution is the UK, for example, trying to make to the GDP of Uzbekistan?
Yeah, look, today, trade is nearly £600 million. It started, at about 60 million in 2016, so there's huge growth. But it's the start, right? Is what we're seeing is, Uzbekistan has GDP growth of over 7% a year. That's not happening in the UK. We envy you, we admire you for that. And so really now, these catalysing events that we're seeing here are a real opportunity for us to think about how we grow that into the tens of billions. Now that's the opportunity over the next decades.
What would be your message to Korean investors who are interested in Uzbekistan?
To Korean investors, okay, I haven't really thought about that. To all investors, there is clearly something momentous happening in this country. I'm very fortunate. I get to travel around the world. What's happened, hopefully you understand this as nationals of Uzbekistan, what's happening here is unique. Both the government initiative, the vision for this country, the start of private enterprise and private businesses is going to transform this for the next 100 years. So not just Korean investors, but to any investors, this is a place that you need to look and build long-term partnerships to how it builds prosperity for both countries. So not transactional, you've got to build long-term relationships because that's really what's going to affect change.
What kind of plans have been made exactly as a result of this investment with Uzbekistan?
So there were already good relationships between the UK and Uzbekistan. So why I wanted to come here is to really look, well, how do we build the next sort of 5 and 10 year plans together? We spoke at length to the President yesterday about, what are the initiatives that really work well for both countries. So what we're going to do is we're going to go home. I'm flying home tomorrow. And within the next week, we're going to work with our partners in the Uzbek government to build the next roadmap. There's already economic development, but how do you develop around education as well, around culture, around innovation, around financial services? So there's so many opportunities we need to prioritise now to make sure that we don't miss any of them.
Which sectors in particular do you think are attractive for British investment?
I think there's so many really. When you look at the Uznev deal with the state-owned investment fund, that's going to catalyse investment in multiple state-owned enterprises. And I'm really interested in how you move to the private sector. So I was an entrepreneur for 30 years, so I'm interested in the digital and tech sector. I think financial services is going to be profound in terms of Uzbekistan being the centre for financial services in the region. I think then you look at obviously critical minerals, the huge natural resources that the region has.
But there are no British companies here yet.
No, but this is the point of being here, right? This is stuff. We're looking to create signals for British businesses, and what are the barriers? We just had a Q&A session now. What are the barriers for UK businesses to be in? The specificity of that's going to be important. The job of government is to now listen, take that feedback, and make sure that the government is supportive of that.
Say Uzbekistan's reached critical mass, in so much as you're here, there's a German delegation, they're talking about the same things, investing in manufacturing, with processing, all those things.
I don't know. I think this is the beginning for Uzbekistan. I don't think critical mass yet. You look at the development of the economy, it's not even close to where it's going to be. I was asked for some advice in the last panel that we did. They said, what would my advice to be? And my advice would be to anyone is quit your job and become an entrepreneur in this country. Pick a market, pick a sector that you see is not really developed yet. There are going to be unbounded opportunities over the next decade. So that would be my advice.
What's the one reason that British investors show when they decide not to invest in Uzbekistan?
I think at the moment it's about having confidence in the overall system in Uzbekistan. the reason I'm here is that the UK government has confidence in that system. You're seeing it now. The USNEF transaction on the London Stock Exchange was the starting gun on the confidence of not only making sure that the private sector is going to be motivated from here on in, but the governance required for that is significant. And the government of Uzbekistan is on that journey. So I think ultimately now it's about us giving the confidence and obviously solving some of those problems as well, technical problems, as we think about the next 5 to 10 years. How do we solve some of those technical problems to make sure that everyone benefits? And we create prosperity not only in Uzbekistan, but in the UK as well.